Hello students, today let us learn the poetry named The Lake Isle of Innisfree, written by William Butler Yeats. This is a very beautiful poetry. It tells about how the poet was longing to spend his time in solitude. He wanted to spend his time alone. He wanted to go away from the hustle and bustle of life. He was staying in the crowded place. He was staying in the town. So he wanted to move to a lonely place. He wanted to move to an island. He wanted to spend his remaining days of his life in the island. He used to tell that he was enjoying his early days in that island. So now he wants to go back from the hustle and bustle of life to that island. He wanted to spend his time in that island in solitude. He wanted to grow fresh vegetables. He wanted to spend his time amidst insects, birds, and the natural environment. So now let us move forward by reading the poetry stanza wise. Let us have the look at the pictures and try to visualize the mindset of the poet. The Lake Isle of Innisfree is written by William Butler Yeats. So now let us move to the stanza. At the same time, let us see the picture. So here you can see the picture of the lake and the island of Innisfree. Lake, you can see the lake which is full of water, and there is an island. So the poet wants to go to that island and make a beautiful house. He wanted to make a small house. He wanted to live there alone. So you can see and imagine how the poet wants to spend his remaining years and days in that island. You can see the title of the poetry, The Lake Isle of Innisfree. Isle, lake, you can see the lake which is full of water. Isle is the short form of island. Innisfree is the name of the place. The summary, let us read the summary. The poet is reminded of his past, his boyhood, his childhood, when he visited the peaceful lake Isle of Innisfree. So, when he was a small boy, he had visited this place and he used to long to come to this place and spend his time over there. He wants to go there and says that he will live there all alone. So he wants to live alone in that place. He wants to build a small cabin, small room, small house with clay, with mud and wattles. Wattles is like sticks. He would grow beans, he would grow vegetables and get a honeybee hive for honey to survive on. He wants to taste the delicious or tasty honeybee in that island. So he had so much thought in his mind. The poet describes the peaceful natural surroundings of the lake. So he has described in the past about the natural surrounding of the lake. So he wants to remain in that, he wants to stay in that island. He says that the scene of the cloudy mornings, the shining stars, the glowing sun, and birds flying in the sky give him peace. He feels relaxed to hear the pleasant sound of the cricket song. Cricket is the name of an insect. So he wants to spend his time in the natural environment. He wants to enjoy the beauty of that environment. He wants to enjoy the natural environment of the island. He wants to see the morning, cloudy mornings. He wants to see the shining stars at night. He wants to see the bright sun, glowing sun in the mid of the day, and birds flying in the sky give him peace. All these looks, all this scenario or scenery gives him comfort and happiness. It gives him peace. He feels relaxed to hear the pleasant sound of the cricket songs. So when he listens to the song of the cricket is the insect. When he listens to the song of the cricket, he feels very happy. He feels relaxed. The poet feels the urgency to go to the lake isle of Innisfree. So the poet feels that it is urgent for him to go and spend his time in the midst of the island. So it says that it is a necessity. He feels that it is urgent. It is very important to go there. In the depth of his heart, he can hear the sound of the lake waters hitting the shore. So he's imagining how the wave of the lake hits the shore and produces the sound of the hitting sound. It is as if the lake is calling him. He imagines that the lake is calling him to spend his time over there. He hears the sound everywhere. He listens to the sound everywhere, either on the crowded roads or the grey colored pavements of the city in which he lives. So now that he was living in the midst of a crowded roads, a crowded place, he was living in a very crowded place. So he was living in a city. It was full of hustle and bustle of life. It was very busy life. So in the midst of all this, he was thinking about the lake isle of Innisfree. He was longing to go there and spend his time over there. He wants to have natural environment. He wants to have natural things of that island. This indicates that he wants to escape from the artificial life of the city into the peaceful surroundings of nature. So it means that he wants to spend in the midst of nature. He wants to spend because he feels that he is the lover of nature. He wants to live, he wants to come out from the artificial life and to live in the natural environment, into the real world. So this was the longing of the poet. So this poetry is a very thought-provoking poet that every one of us like to spend in solitude someday or the other. Everybody wants to experience peace, joy and happiness in one's life. We also at times feel that we should also move to the hill station, or we want to move to a peaceful place where we can spend time in happiness and in solitude. So in the same way, the poet wants to go away from the city life and spend his time in the midst of the island. He wants to live a peaceful life. So that is the thought of the poet. Now let us move the first stanza. The first stanza, he said, I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree. So the poet was thinking, he was making up plans, he was deciding, he was taking decision that I will arise, I will stand up and go now, and I'll go to Innisfree, the name of the place, the island, the name of the island. And a small cabin built there. He's telling that he will build a small house, small hut to live in that place of clay and wattles made. Clay or mud and wattles made. Wattles, you can see, twisted sticks for making fences, walls. 9 bean rows will I have there. 9 bean means I will grow fresh beans. I will grow vegetables in line wise. Rows will I have there. A hive for the honeybee, and he will make hive for the honeybee to have fresh honey and live alone in the big loud glade. and want to live in the place where there's a lot of sound produced by bee. So he wants to spend his time over there listening to the beautiful sound produced by the bee in the open place. Glade means clearing, open space. You can see the meaning here. Arise means stand up. Cave in means room, small house. Wattles, twisted sticks for making fences, walls. He will make the walls of the house. Glade, clearing, open space. Bee loud refers to the sound made by the buzzing of the bees. Now let us move to the next stanza. Second stanza, and I shall have some peace there. He's thinking that he will have peace there. For peace comes dropping slow. For he understands that peace comes slowly. It doesn't come all of a sudden. It comes slowly. Dropping from the veils of the morning. So from the time of morning, dawn, from the morning, when the morning comes, when the darkness disappears, the veil of darkness disappears and the light comes when the morning sun appears, to where the cricket sings in the morning time. He listens to the song of the cricket. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening's full of the linnet's wings. So he is describing all the activities taking place during the morning time, noon time, at night and evening time. Then midnight's all a glimmer. So midnight time, that small insect which gives light, that moves around, and he enjoys the beauty of that insect giving light. And noon a purple glow, and noon time it become very bright. It become very bright, so he can see the brightful sun light, brightful sunlight. And evening's full of linnet's wings, and in evening he can see the insect linnets. Linnet's wings is a linnets. Let's say small brown and grey bird with a short beak. You can see the linnet. These are the linnets. Cricket, this one you can see, this is a cricket. Veils, a piece of fine material worn by women to protect or hide the face. Veils, like the ladies who wear veils. Cricket, an insect related to the grasshoppers but with shorter legs. You can see this. This is the cricket. The male produces a characteristic musical chirping sound. Linnet, a small brown and grey bird with a short beak. You can see this linnet. This is the bird. These are the birds. Glimmer means something which is shining. Glimmer, that insect which appears during the night time, giving light. Third stanza, I will arise and go now. He's making up in the same way he said in the first stanza. In the same way in the third stanza also he is saying, I will arise and go now, for always night and day. I will stay, I will go there and live forever. I will enjoy the night and day. I will stay night and day over there and enjoy all the beauty of that island. I hear the lake water lapping. Lapping means hitting with low sounds by the shore. So he's imagining, he has not yet gone to that island, but he's making decisions. He's imagining that he will go there and what he would be doing in that island. All these things he's expressing. And he's imagining that there is a lake, and that the lake water is lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway, so while he was standing on the roadway thinking about going to that island named Innisfree, or on the pavements grey, or when he was walking on the road, on the pavements, I hear in the deep heart's core. So he was so much obsessed with the idea of going to the island, the lake isle of Innisfree. That's why he was thinking all the time when he was in the busy place, when he was in the marketplace, when he was in the road, when he was walking, even when he was in the busy place, he was remembering the beauty, the solitude of that lake isle, the lake isle of Innisfree. Night and day, all the time he will enjoy. He was saying that I will enjoy all the time, lapping, striking, heart's core, the innermost part of the heart. So there was innermost desire in his heart to go to the lake isle of Innisfree. Why he want to go? He want to enjoy the peace and happiness in that island. You can see the different pictures. You can imagine the honeybee, the bees which are making honey, and you can see in the picture. So you want to enjoy all these things in that island. You can see that this house is beautifully made, so you want to have a cabin, you want to have a room or a house. So you can see the picture here. So this way he wants to make a hut or a house, and he wants to live in that house alone in peace and happiness. You can see the veil. This is example given of the veil, that veil, the covering, outer covering of which covers the face of a woman, which covers the face of the woman. So this is an example, like the poet has used the word veils for the morning veil, like when the morning comes, the darkness disappears and light comes into the light comes. This is the picture. You can visualize the lake, you can see the lake, and the island, you can see the island. So island is surrounded by water, and all the four sides is surrounded with water. You can see the picture. There are different pictures. You can visualize how he wants to enjoy. You can see by looking at the picture, we can understand there is peace and serenity in that area. Everybody wants to go to the place and enjoy over there. So you can see the place, the scenery is really very attractive. Literary devices in the poem. Rhyme scheme is A-B. Alliteration, the repetition of the consonant sound in two or more closely placed words is called alliteration. Repetition is the repetition of the consonant letters in the lines of the poem, The instances of alliteration in the poem are hive, honeybee, hive, H's. H sound is repeated. Lake, lapping, low. L sound is repeated. So these are alliteration. Repetition, I will arise and go now is repeated in stanza 1 and 3. So this repetition is also called literary device. So in stanza 1 and stanza 3, I will rise and go now, this phrase, this line is repeated again and again. So this is also repetition. This is also a literary device. Personification, morning is personified. Morning is personified. Metaphor, clouds are compared to veils. Cloud and veils is compared. So this is used as a form of metaphor. Clouds are compared to veils. So this is a metaphor. So you can understand these are the literary devices in the poem. You can see the title of the poem, The Lake Isle of Innisfree. Now, let us discuss the question answers of this poem. What kind of place is Innisfree? Think about. The three things the poet wants to do when he goes back there. Stanza 1. The three things that the poet wants to do when he goes to Innisfree are as follows. He wants to build a small cabin with clay and wattles. B. He wants to plant 9 rows of beans. C. He wants to keep a honeybee hive. So these are the three things the poet wants to do when he will visit that place. What he hears and sees there and its effect on him. Stanza 2. The poet sees the cloudy morning which looks like the sky is wearing a veil. He hears the song of the cricket. He sees the linnet bird flying in the evening sky, the shimmering stars in the night sky, and the purplish glow of the afternoon sun. All these give him a feeling of being at peace. Question number 3. What he hears in the heart's core even when he is far away from Innisfree. Stanza 3. Even when the poet is far away from Innisfree, he hears the sound of the lake water hitting the